Hello and Happy New Year. It's our first show of 2022, and we're going to kick it off with a bang, right, Henry? Yep. You might be thinking, but Eric, we're only 3 days into the new year. Who could possibly have already earned the hypocrisy bell? Wait for it. You just see who that is right there. The Democratic Congresswoman representing New York's 14th District, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, maskless in Florida. The squad member who so rigorously supported mask and vaccine mandates and was AOC in Florida on official business? Nah, absolutely not. She was in Miami at a drag show partying with hundreds of other maskless people, including Hollywood actor Billy Porter. Porter even planted a big old wet kiss on the Congresswoman's face. What's even more hypocritical is how New York and Florida both have completely different COVID policies, and yet both states are seeing record cases rise. See how this is all about control, folks? AOC demands everyone in New York follow her rules so they can't live their lives, but when AOC wants to party, she just calls her Hollywood buddies to fly her down to Miami. Remember, this is the same person who attacks every conservative who doesn't agree with her socialist ideas. Look at how she and the squad treated Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, calling them racist, or in Manchin's case, he's racist and old. How nice of you. We weren't even the first ones to point out the blatant hypocrisy. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' team tweeted at AOC while she was in Florida, and she, AOC, responded with, quote, "Hasn't Governor DeSantis been inexplicably missing for like 2 weeks? In the meantime, perhaps I could help with local organizing." AOC, your local organizing skills are what got you into hot water in the first place right there. And second, the reason why Governor DeSantis has been missing is because he was taking his wife to get cancer treatment, you insensitive political hack. Good job, AOC. You pretend like you're an adult, but you're making fun of a man's sick wife just for some likes on Twitter? Childish. Disgusting. And here's another way AOC chose to distract us from her blatant hypocrisy. In another tweet, she said this, quote, "If Republicans are mad they can't date me, they can just say that instead of projecting their sexual frustrations onto my boyfriend's feet." OMG, are you serious, AOC? We call you out for hypocrisy and you accuse us of wanting to date you? Get over yourself, girl. You're not all that. But then she went on. She went further. Quote, "It's starting to get old ignoring the very obvious, strange, and deranged sexual frustrations that underpin the Republican fixations on me, women, and LGBT plus people in general. These people clearly need therapy. Won't do it and use these politics as outfits instead. It's really weird," she said. We need therapy? We need therapy? No, Madam Representative, I'd say you need therapy. Worry not. Everyone does not want to date you. Socialism has killed millions throughout history, so you and Bernie Sanders being self-identified socialists, that's not hot, not even a bit. Sorry to break the news to you. And you might talk to your therapist while you're at it about your knack for pathological lying because, you know, 1 year anniversary of January 6th is 3 days away, and last time I checked, only a sociopath could say things like this that you said about that day.
I didn't think that I was just going to be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
Yeah, I thought I was.
I said, Congresswoman, you were half a mile away in a different building surrounded by armed guards, nowhere near the January 6th riots, and yet you made it all about yourself and your victimhood. Now, Ashley Babbitt actually died that day, but you weren't even there. I remember when AOC first got elected to Congress, a grassroots movement where she went house to house campaigning the old school way, had all these socialist ideas for a democratic utopia, naive about how the world actually works or politics works. Now, whether or not you like her, AOC got herself elected and went to Washington, D.C. to be a politician. But now, after just 3 years, she's everything she swore to destroy, hanging out with Hollywood elite at the Met Gala, while pretending to still care about her constituents, not wearing a mask. Meanwhile, the paparazzi and, the little people working at the gala were all wearing masks. What a hypocrite. AOC is now just another Hollywood aspiring politician with empty promises. The only time she ever does any politicking is when there are cameras rolling so that she can keep her face on social media, or she can pretend to be working for the people, not partying with the celebrity class, which is where she really wants to be. It's all for show. She's done this before. While protesting on the Capitol steps with a bunch of activists, you can see her not wearing her mask and then putting it on just for the picture and then taking it off. She yells and calls people racist and says police are bad, and then is surrounded when no one trusts her. AOC is all sizzle, no steak, all talk, no walk, a hypocrite who hasn't got a single bill passed with her name on it in 3 years. Lots of social media posts with celebrities, sure. As for legislating, doing your job, not so much. I'd like to go back to Ron DeSantis for just a minute. So just so you know, AOC knows where he is. Let's let her know if she doesn't. Aside from being one of the greatest husbands of all time, just this morning, the governor made this announcement.
The federal government had stopped sending both Regeneron and the Eli Lilly monoclonal, and that was based off some preliminary studies saying that it may not be as effective against Omicron, but of course Omicron's not the only variant that's out there, and it's something that we actually have seen applied with Omicron patients, and we have seen symptoms resolve. And so we, under Dr. Ladapo's leadership, we push back against that. We feel there's no need for it to just be sitting on the shelves. We asked them to stop preventing the distribution of these treatments.
Now that's a governor. He announced that Florida will be buying more antibody treatments for immunocompromised patients. Meanwhile, in New York, AOC's city, which she's actively trying to escape apparently, lawmakers are literally prioritizing minorities over white people for COVID treatment, even if the white person is in danger of dying. Forget about the time-tested triage where the sickest get the treatment first, or first come, first serve. Now in New York, it's first come, have fun dying if you're white. Love your new Democratic freakazoid governor, Kathy Hochul. One last point. There's a famous saying that goes, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. Here's a quick look at AOC's friends.
You know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen.
I will never stop saying not only do we need to disinvest in police, but we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department.
That's a squad. Those are friends of AOC. Those are the ones she keeps around. People who tell you the police need to be dismantled, and you need to just suck it up, Buttercup. She actually hasn't gotten anything done so far. None of her agenda has been passed. After seeing her friends, I'm not surprised why. Ron DeSantis, on the other hand, gets things done. DeSantis knows how to deal with a health emergency and how to run a state, maybe even a country, if he's up for it. Joining us now to weigh in on all this COVID hypocrisy, musician and outdoorsman, a good friend of mine also, Mr. Ted Nugent. Ted, thanks for joining us. AOC partying the glam squad in their little Miami bash going on. No one's wearing masks. Meanwhile, she's calling out the people of Florida for COVID. And she's the real hypocrite here, is she not?
Well, Eric, a big ditto, no kidding, duh, from the heartland to you, because you're covering all the bases. In fact, the Nugent family is creating Cockroach Spotlight Winner of the Year. And Eric Bolling, you're at the top of the list, because these people are freaks. The term soulless applies to all of them. The dishonesty, the hypocrisy, and worst of all, I know the oath, the sacred U.S. constitutional oath that these punks take, and they violate it by the hour. And the heartland, working hard, playing hard Americans are aware of everything you just identified. We know the evidence is irrefutable. And first of all, we're heartbroken that these kind of creeps, these kind of traitors, this kind of treasonous, horrible anti-American behavior is running amok. But right after the heartbreak, we're really pissed off out here, because when there's a Lauren Boebert out there and a Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's true conservationists, true conservatives, true constitutionalists out there, that's what the heartland is begging for. And you spotlighting these cockroaches is the most important job of a journalist and a citizen. And that's what I do all the time on my Ted Nugent Spirit Campfire, on the HunterNation.org nightly news reports. And I do media every day. So you're repeating the same things that honest people are knowing, repeating, and identifying. So Eric Bolling, you get Cockroach Spotlighter of the Year award in 2022 so far.
I'm very proud of that. It's only one day in. I can't imagine what the rest of the year is going to look like. My friend Ted Nugent giving me the honor of Cockroach Spotlighter of the Year. Ted, you know, what blew me away also was at one point AOC pointed a finger at Ron DeSantis for not being present. Meanwhile, he's taking his sick wife for cancer treatments. And then she couldn't even apologize for making the mistake. She doubled down and kind of deflecting by saying, oh, all you Republicans just want to have sex with her or some weird quirky crap like that. It's gross what they do on the left.
You know, Eric, I'm an older guy, just turned 73, had the greatest hunting birthday party of my life with great musicians, great music, a bunch of great backstrappers, and a bunch of great families around a great American campfire. And when we see this kind of behavior, you know, in my 73 years, I've seen Kent State, the atrocities of Ruby Ridge, the atrocities of the Branch Davidians. I've seen where the FBI has morphed into a criminal organization under punks like Comey. I've seen where this weasel has weaseled his way into the White House. And here's the most telling of all. Again, I'm just a guitar player, but I happen to hang out with the best human beings that ever walked the earth. And they're heroes of the military and law enforcement who literally charge into the fight every day, putting their lives on the line to provide security and freedom. And when the military and I push the hot coals around a campfire, and we have to admit that Joe Biden is the commander-in-chief of the heroes of the military, we literally cry tears of blood. It is such an atrocity.
Remember when the Dems defended Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg for taking an extended parental leave after the birth of his son in the midst of a supply chain crisis? Well, now Dems claim Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was, quote, missing when he was accompanying his wife to cancer treatment. It's unbelievable. More hypocrisy by the left. Republican Florida State Senator Ileana Garcia joins us now to weigh in. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. The hypocrisy we point out, but this is just mean-spirited liberal leftism, is it not?
Well, you have to understand that this is a typical communist Marxist character. Here in the United States, we're not used to that. But we're used to it in Cuba, we're used to it in Venezuela or other countries where a tyranny is part of that. All communists in these countries are rich, and all of them tell you what to do, but never follow any of their own rules. Now, what you have to ask yourself is that how is a character like AOC able to get as far as she has? How did she make it, considering that she removed the second in command to Nancy Pelosi? Let's do a revision of history of how she actually stepped in. This is exactly what communism, socialism, globalism does. Consistently, persistently, they move to put these pawns, they're nothing but pawns, brainless pawns, in particular places to do what she's doing. She's got sociopathic tendencies. She's extremely hypocritical, but we all know that. And basically, this is what our country will look like if we allow socialism to take over the United States. And you know who owns this? The Democrats. The Democrats weren't this way, Eric. You know that. They just weren't this way. But we are now allowing them to take this on, and they own it. They own socialism, communism.
And the term, I think, has been coined in communism throughout ages. It's called useful idiots. In other words, they're people who are the face of the party, but they don't really do anything. They're fairly popular, and they promote the agenda, the socialist agenda. I would call AOC a useful idiot. I'm guessing you would agree with that. We wanted to bring you on, Senator, because you cover Miami as part of your district of the people you represent. AOC was in Miami partying with Glam Party, with whomever, maskless, and then she spends the rest of her time when she's in D.C. or New York pointing the finger at your state and you and your governor and your administration.
You know, it's truly sad that she pointed out the current situation that Governor DeSantis has for anyone who's had a relative or anyone who's gone through a cancer situation. It's a very delicate thing. I mean, you have to be there. You have to be accompany a sister like I did for a very long time who was going through a chemo situation, a radiation therapy situation, or someone who's been diagnosed with cancer. It is a very tough situation so to see someone like her just completely play off the situation as if it were nothing, just in a completely desensitized sense. You have to think to yourself, oh my God, these people are legislating us. These people have something to do with the direction that our country is going in. And we should be very, very afraid. I'm very grateful and thankful every single day that I work under a great governor like Governor DeSantis, who has done wonders for the great state of free Florida, and will continue to do great things for Florida. And that's why everyone is here. And that's why Mrs. Hypocrites, AOC, was here in Miami Beach, Florida, living the life that we have thanks to Governor DeSantis, who's done it with great discernment, with great wisdom, and thinking of nothing but what this great country is, which is opportunity, security, prosperity, freedom.
Yeah, in the words of Ricky Martin, living La Vida Loca, as AOC has been doing the last week or so. Senator Ileana Garcia, thank you so much for joining us. Also, the reason why I'm moving the show down to Florida for at least part of the year, maybe the whole year, who knows. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Hi, Rob Carson here. If you love watching Newsmax, you're really going to love listening to our new podcast. It's called the Newsmax Daily. I host it, and I give you the best briefing of the big news of the day, top newsmaker interviews, and even, yes, a few laughs. I know it's hard to believe. So if you're driving, walking, exercising, just about anywhere, you can connect with the Newsmax Daily with me, Rob Carson. Find our podcast online or go to iPhone, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher, and more, and start listening today.